we live in a world now where we talk about balance and everything's got to be in harmony, and
Sure.
I got to do things the right way, and I got to get my 8 hours of sleep, and everything has to be perfect. People think that I work for money. I don't work for money. Are you crazy? Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman are going to tell you that if you're drinking Starbucks, you're dumb. Other people are going to say if you're drinking Starbucks, that's fine because that's what you work for. The reality is that that's asking the wrong question. What's up, everybody? I am Jasprit Singh from theMinorityMindset.com, and I'm sitting down with Nate from Minority Mindset News, and we're going to be talking about money. More specifically, what are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about if you have what it takes to get rich in 1 year.
Ooh, all right. Okay. So what do you mean? What does rich mean?
So that's I was going to ask that exact thing to you. What do you think it means to be rich?
Well, our slogan here is where money minds rethink rich. The whole idea behind rethinking rich is you got to figure out what rich means to you, because what rich means to you is not what rich means to me.
Right.
And to somebody, being rich might mean having $1 million in the bank account. Mm-hmm. That's not what being rich means to me. Obviously, you need to be financially successful. Being rich, to me, is more than just financial success. It means living a rich life. So when we talk about being rich in 1 year, because I think that's everyone's question, how can I get rich ASAP? That's why we have so many get-rich-quick schemes out there. Everyone's trying to figure out, how do I get rich quick? How do I get rich fast?
Right.
So when you talk about how do I get rich in 1 year, I think you're asking, correct me if I'm wrong, how do you get financially rich?
Exactly. How exactly do you take the money that you have now and the mindset that you have and actually build that into something sustainable?
So how do you do it in 1 year? Or is it, how do I get rich, or do you have what it takes?
Well, we're going to kind of break this down into twofold, because I'm really, really interested to see what your thoughts are on, do you have what it takes to get rich, and do you have the current financial situation to build something and to be rich? Because a lot of people have the education, a lot of people have the background to actually start making money, but becoming rich is something completely different. So I want to break down first, how do you get the mindset to become rich?
Yeah. The mindset to becoming rich breaks down first, and we can interchange rich, wealthy, financially free, whatever you want. The whole mindset starts first with making the decision that, okay, I want to become financially successful. And then second, it's no longer having that victim mentality of, I can't do it. It's hard for someone like me. It's impossible for someone like me. You got to believe you can do it. And then you got to build that mindset where no matter what happens, you're going to find a way.
So where does that start? Where does this mindset of saying that I can do it start? Because there's a lot of people out there that have that kind of mindset but never seem to really get anywhere. Do you think it's something that they're doing, or do you think it's more of a money thing?
No, it's definitely not a money thing. I mean, it starts really from whatever it is here. It's an education thing. And a lot of us grow up with limiting beliefs. I did. I'm sure you did. Everybody grows up with some sort of limiting beliefs where you believe that because of how I was raised, the household that I was raised in, who my parents are, my education, whatever, because of X, Y, and Z, I can only achieve so much. Everybody has some sort of limiting beliefs. I never thought that I could be an entrepreneur. Nobody told me that it was possible. When I told my parents, my family, that I wanted to start a business, every single person told me I was stupid. Mm-hmm. No one in my business is an entrepreneur. Sorry, no one in my family is an entrepreneur. No one in my family is an investor like that. And so I didn't get that type of education or that type of okayness. It wasn't okay for me to be an entrepreneur. When I told my parents that I wanted to start a business, they told me I was stupid, that I was throwing everything away because I was supposed to be a doctor.
Right.
I did the whole pre-med route. I had taken pre-med classes. I was doing pre-med clubs in school. I was going to these pre-med conferences. I was doing volunteering at hospitals. I was shadowing different doctors. I was doing so many different things to get me ready to become a doctor. But then when I realized that this wasn't for me, I was throwing everything away. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing you got to do is you got to make that decision for yourself. And that's hard, because becoming successful isn't do X, Y, and Z. You can become successful. There's so many routes to do that, especially if we talk about building your own wealth and doing it in a quicker time span, talking about 1 year. You got to be more innovative. So you're going to have to take on risks. So you're going to have to make that decision for yourself, because a lot of people are not ready to take risks.
Right.
If they were, you'd have more people investing their money. You'd have more people starting businesses. You'd have more people doing a lot of things, but a lot of people hold themselves back. So you have to be able to make that decision for yourself that, okay, I want to become successful.
Right. Yeah. And I absolutely love that, because when I was growing up, my parents just taught me to work super, super hard. And I know a ton of people that I graduated with, even in high school, that worked super, super hard and got a really good job, went to school, did the whole deal, but they weren't able to actually become rich in their minds, right? So they actually started to make a decent amount of money, but they're always telling me about how they're having these struggles constantly. What do you say to people that go to school, that actually do become doctors and go through the whole medical school experience and then get all this money and then still struggle?
Well, I mean, that goes into the second part, right? So we talk about the mindset. You got to make that decision for yourself. Before we get there, let me finish the part about the mindset.
Sure.
Because the second part is you got to be willing to work your butt off. And that is a concept that isn't always very easy, because we live in a world now where we talk about balance and everything's got to be in harmony, and
Sure.
I got to do things the right way, and I got to get my 8 hours of sleep, and everything has to be perfect, right? We live in a world where people don't want to feel that sort of pain. And it's not even just people. I mean, you see it everywhere. Look at the 2020 crash. Why did the Federal Reserve Bank start stimulating so much? Why did we start stimulating the economy so much? Because we are trying to desensitize ourselves from risk and pain. Economic cycles are a part of the market. Yet now we're paying the price with all this inflation because of all the stimulating that we did. But going back to I'm getting sidetracked. Going back to the concept of being willing to work. When I was starting off, and I'm not saying anybody should do this, when I was starting off, speaking for myself here, I was sleeping 4 hours a night on a good night.
Woo! Man.
I was working a lot. I was going to school full time. And if I wasn't in school, I was working on my business. And this wasn't a Monday through Friday thing. This was a 7 days a week, holidays, weekends. I didn't take days off. I worked my butt off. Monday through Friday, I was in school. After school, I was running my business. I had an event planning company. So I'd be planning things in the morning. I'd be planning events in the evening. On Thursdays, Fridays, I'd be hosting events. So that means I'd be in class until afternoon, early evening time. And then if I'm hosting an event, that means I got to be at the event from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. because we're talking about college, club parties, venues, right?
Right.
Party ends at 2 a.m. I'm not done. Now I got to make sure everything is set. I got to count the money, got to make sure the DJ's paid, got to make sure, there's no fights, there's no other problems. So now I'm at the venue until 2, 3, maybe 3:30. Go and get some food with the DJs because it's what we do. Get home by 4:30 in the morning. And now it's Saturday morning, 4:30 in the morning. And guess what happens on Saturdays? People get married. I worked in the wedding business. Indian weddings last all day, if not all week. And so now, Saturday morning, I got to get up early. I got to be at a wedding by 7, 8 a.m. to start working, to start playing, to start setting up. And so you work all day Saturday at a wedding, come home late Saturday night after the wedding's done, after you're done setting up. Sunday, you start studying and you get ready to start it all over again.
Man, yeah, so you were hustling from the very beginning, it sounds like.
You got to be willing to work. And I got that hustle mindset from my family. I talk about this a lot. My dad came to this country with less than $100. For him, it was either you work or you don't eat, right? And my grandparents were refugees. When they lost their homes, they lost everything. They lost their friends, they lost their family members, they lost their land, they lost their money. My grandfather, when he lost his home, so my family's from a state in India called Punjab. When they lost everything because our state was severed, all he had was a sword in his hand. And now he had to literally run across the border because if you didn't and you were a Sikh, my religion, and you're on the west side, you were going to be killed. So he ran. And his family got attacked. He saw his uncle get his head cut open right in front of him. After his uncle got his head chopped open, they tied him up on a horse, and that was it. So he came to this new side of India, didn't even have shoes on. He lost his shoes along the way, but he had to find a way to make it work. And for him, he didn't have the opportunity to take days off, because if he took a day off, he would have been killed. So, working hard is hard. And yeah, once you get to a certain point, I sleep a whole lot more now. I have more balance in my life now. But when I was really trying to build, there was no balance. I was working because I wanted to build. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I put everything that I had into it. So I went all in.
So are you saying that more Americans could be successful, and more importantly, they could be rich if they just work harder?
Working harder is the first part. If you are not willing to work hard, it is going to be very hard for you to be successful. I mean, it's just the reality. Now, obviously, you want to work smart, because you want to make your hard work the most beneficial, because there are some people that work very hard that are not financially successful.
Right.
And there's a couple of reasons. One is just because they're working hard and not smart. Second reason is they're working hard and then they don't know what to do with their money.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good point.
And I think that goes into this whole working smart idea. I think that goes into kind of the whole basis of this question in general. So we talked about kind of working and trying to work really hard, but now working smart. So say somebody is making really good money, but they're not, at least in their mind, they're not rich. They're not getting the things that they want. What can somebody do, or what's your thoughts on people, working smarter with the money that they have?
Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to get educated. You got to know what is it that you're working for, right? Because what does that mean to work smart? What does working smart mean?
I mean, to me, that would be to kind of use the world around you to your advantage, right? So using what you know and trying to kind of use the systems that are in place to actually make things work for you.
Yeah. And for me, what working smart meant was being able to build a business that's scalable without me physically always working there to do everything, and then using my money as a tool.
Right.
When I was doing my original businesses, the reason why I shut some of them down, I built a lot of businesses because I had no...
I've heard about a few of them,
I had no business experience. My business experience was not through the classroom. It was through doing things. I started wholesaling real estate, which is a whole business where now, let's say you have a home that's worth $150,000. You can't sell it. I come into a contract to buy your home for, let's just say, $135,000 because you can't sell it. You want to sell it quickly. You come to me. I take this contract to sell it for $135,000, and I'm going to try to flip this contract to somebody else. I'm going to find somebody who's willing to pay $145,000 for your home because I'm a good marketer. They pay you $135,000. They give me the other $10,000, and then you're happy. You get to sell your home. I walk away with some money, and the homeowner is happy, the new homeowner, because now they got a home below market value.
Sure.
I started doing that. Again, a lot of hard work. Took me months to get my first deal, but it wasn't scalable for me. Because if I wasn't constantly on the phone trying to find clients, I wasn't trying to find buyers, I wasn't closing deals. And if I wasn't closing deals, I wasn't getting paid.
Exactly.
So for me, the first realization of what does working smart mean was being able to build something that's scalable without necessarily you physically working. Because if you're doing this, just me physically working, you're just a sole proprietor.
Right.
You're not a business owner. Can't build a business like that. The second thing is using my money, because I never grew up learning about investing. I don't think you grew up learning about investing.
No, my pretty much money experience was my parents told me to save everything. My parents told me to save everything, and again, just work hard for every dollar that you earn. That was all I was taught about money growing up.
Work hard for money and save.
Exactly. Save
The
everything.
route to broke.
Exactly. Save everything that you can, and then hopefully one day you've saved enough in order to be successful. Yeah. So my parents told me, taught me at least, it doesn't matter what job you have, but as long as you can save and work with your money, you'll be good. Kind of figured out later, though, as I started to go through school, I was an English major. And a lot of people told me there's no money in that. And that didn't really ever matter to me at first until I started to learn more about money. So kind of getting off of that, kind of the perspective of working smarter, I love that, you want to have your time to do things that you can do to scale more and make more money in order to be successful and be rich. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's using money as a tool, right? Because people think that I work for money. I don't work for money. You crazy? Why would you want to work for money? I work to buy assets. I work to buy investments. Then I let my investments pay for my lifestyle, right? I'm not working to get a paycheck just so I have money to spend.
Right.
And that's what the majority of people, I think, that's the route that we're taught, right? It's either the smart route for the majority of people is work hard, earn a big paycheck, and save as much money as possible. The not smart route is work hard or not work hard, earn money, and spend as much money as possible.
Exactly. Because I remember my parents always told me, one thing I always remember in my childhood was they said, you never get ahead. Sure, you get a raise. Sure, you make more money here, but then something happens or someone takes it away from you. And that's how my parents kind of grew up with money too, is they would get better jobs, but every time they got more jobs, like you're saying, they spent more money.
The expenses go up. It's crazy because if you ask the majority of people what would fix your financial situation, everyone, almost everyone would say, earn more money. And then when those same people earn more money, you get a raise, you get a bonus, your expenses, boop, suddenly go up with it. Because now when you got a raise, you got to celebrate with a new car. You get a bonus, you got to celebrate by going to a vacation in the Bahamas.
Right.
And so if you don't have that first mental discipline of being able to live below your means, so I guess this goes back to that mindset side of things, right? So you got to be willing to work hard. You got to know what you want. Then you need to have the right mindset of knowing, all right, you know what? I'm going to be willing to go all in. Right. And whatever that is, not everybody is meant to be a business owner. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. It is not for everybody. Okay? If you are not an entrepreneur, don't go out and try to start a business because you are going to end up losing way more money and you are going to hurt yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually. If you're not willing to have the discipline, don't start a business. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using your money the right way. That means now, okay, you decide, I want to become wealthy. You're working hard. You're attracting money. Now it's, what are you working hard towards? And this is that debate that we have about saving all the time and living below your means, because nobody likes living poor. Nobody likes living broke, whatever you want to call it. Nobody wants to live below their means, but it has to be for a purpose. Every financial expert is arguing over Starbucks. Is Starbucks a good purchase or not? Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman are going to tell you that if you're drinking Starbucks, you're dumb. Other people are going to say if you're drinking Starbucks, that's fine because that's what you work for. The reality is that that's asking the wrong question. It's why are you not spending money at Starbucks, or why are you spending money at Starbucks? Because if you're not spending money on things because you want to invest every single penny that you have in your business, in real estate, in stocks, in crypto, whatever it is, then you're doing it for a purpose. But if you're doing it just because, it's going to make me wealthy by not spending $3, you're in the wrong mindset. That's not what it is. It's not an extra $3 that matters. It's what are you doing? And there's like 3 phases that I'm talking about to becoming wealthy financially. The first phase is the saving phase. You need to know how to live below your means, because if you don't know how to live below your means, you are never going to become wealthy. It's the first stepping stone.
What does it mean to actually live below your means?
Man, if you're making $1,000, you don't spend $1,000. And how much do you keep? It's going to depend on you. When I was starting off, I'm a little bit crazy, okay? I'm a money earner. I'm a little bit crazy. I already know that. The first time I started making $100,000 a year, I was living on the living room floor of an apartment with my 2 friends because I didn't want to spend money. I think my rent was right around $400 a month. And that included my water bill, my gas bill, my electric bill, my parking fees. So total $400. I could have afforded a much nicer apartment.
Right.
But I had the living room floor, which was doing just fine because I wanted to put every penny that I had back into me, back into my business, and back into buying real estate. So I own rental properties, but I was living on the living room floor. I had a business producing good money, but I was staying on the living room floor because I was trying to really invest into myself.
Right.
So what does it mean to live below your means? It means you make $1,000, you don't spend $1,000. Now, where is that right amount for you? You got to figure that out. Some people, they're going to be able to live off of $200. You're going to say, $200? What do you do with $200? Some people are going to find a way. They're going to sleep on someone's couch. They're going to sleep in their car. They're going to find a way. I mean, Elon Musk, when he was building his business, I mean, he's crazy, right?
Talk about crazy. I was just going to say.
He's crazy. I mean, he's even crazier than I am, man. He got an office and he slept in his office, him and his brother. They didn't have an apartment. They would sleep in the office and go shower in the YMCA.
Right.
So there's levels of crazy. I'm not saying you got to, save every single penny, but you got to figure out, where is it that you can make sacrifices, that way you can have some extra cash. Step 1. Step 2 is the growth phase. Now you finally got some extra cash. What do you do with it? Now this is where you got to figure out, how do you grow your money? What do you do? Are you building a business? Are you buying businesses? Are you investing in real estate? Are you investing in stocks? Are you investing in cryptocurrency? Are you investing in gold? What are you doing with your money? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do to grow? Because at the end of the day, your labor is not going to make you wealthy. Because as soon as you stop working, you stop getting paid.
Right.
And the whole idea of becoming wealthy is you get paid
no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And you can afford your lifestyle. That's what wealth is. But if you want to become wealthy, you need to know how to grow your money. So that's phase 2. Phase 3 is now the spending phase. Now you start to achieve some wealth. Now you need to know, how do you actually spend money? Because people get caught up in the system where they say, okay, I want to become wealthy. So you start living below your means. You live below your means, you live below your means, you live below your means. You start to make good money. And then you never start to enjoy, because you're always trying to be a penny pincher.
Right.
But there has to be a goal, a purpose. When do you stop? I mean, the purpose of becoming wealthy isn't so you can be a couponer your whole life and be a penny pincher. I mean, a penny saved, it's just a penny. But there has to be a purpose. And so you need to understand that, okay, as you become wealthy, how do you now start to spend money and enjoy money? When is it okay for you to now start to enjoy the money that you had and start to live a little bit better, live a little bit bigger? Because you need to enjoy that wealth too. So that's what the spending phase is. You got to know how to save, you got to know how to grow, then you need to know how to spend.
So do you think managing your money is probably the most important thing out of all of that? So say you have all that money, and then, obviously you need to manage it, kind of like you were saying with spending and saving. Do you think that money management is going to be the most important piece of that once you've grown your money?
I mean, it's hard to say just money management, because it's a mindset. If you have the right mindset, nothing will stop you. And if you have the right mindset, you will find a way to manage your money. If you have the right mindset, you will find a way to work hard. If you have the right mindset, you will find something to do. You'll find a way to invest, because you have the right mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, everything's going to stop you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could be a great money manager, but a lazy person and not willing to do anything, not willing to take risks, not willing to try anything, and you're going to go nowhere. So your first thing, I mean, the reason why we're called the minority mindset is because all success starts with your mindset.
Exactly.
Right? And there's a reason why the majority of people don't have the minority mindset, because it's not easy. But all success starts with your mindset. So if you do not have the right mindset, it is going to be impossible for you to become wealthy. It's physically, emotionally impossible. You have to have the right mindset. Now, the question you're going to ask me, I already know, is how do you get that right mindset?
Right.
And there's no secret sauce, right? I mean, there has to be a reason for why you do what you do. There's a reason for why you bust your butt.
Right.
There's a reason for why you work so hard. There's a reason why I work so hard. There's a reason why you're watching this video. And now, you got to have that be your driving factor. What is the reason for why you're doing what you do? When I was in college, I used to listen to a guy named Eric Thomas, E.T. He was a motivational speaker. My friend gave me a CD, because I used to listen to audiobooks, and he gave me a CD by Eric Thomas called The Blueprint to Success. And this was like a mixtape of motivational tracks that he created. It was really cool, because he instead of creating like songs and raps, he created a motivational mixtape. And man, I used to listen to that every single day. And what he talks about is, what is your why? Find your why. Why do you do what you do?
I love that.
And you need a reason. If you don't have a reason for why you do what you do, you're going to have no reason to do it. What is your reason for working hard? What is your reason for waking up in the morning? What is your reason for hustling? Like, why do you work so hard?
For me, I work so hard so that way I can have enough, things, and I can have enough time to do all the things that I want to do. So I work so hard so I can give myself an advantage for the rest of, my life. Obviously that wealth, and we talk about wealth kind of inside and outside. I love that idea of having a purpose for what you do, because it doesn't matter how much money you're going to make if you don't have a purpose. And there you could be given the most money in the world. You could have Jeff Bezos level of money, but if you don't have a purpose, it's not going to matter. And for me, it's exactly it. My purpose is because I love what I do. I work hard because I love it. I love making things. I love creating things. And then for the rest of my life, I want to be able to kind of enjoy all of the things that I made.
Good. Yeah, I like that. And that's not easy for someone to figure out, because it is the dumbest thing when people say, okay, when you come up with a business idea, find your passion. Once you know your passion, just follow your passion and create something. Dude, do you realize that your passion is going to change every 5 years?
Exactly.
What I was passionate about 10 years ago, what was I passionate about 10 years ago? I was passionate about throwing parties. Okay, I was never into partying. I never drank. I never did that. But I was passionate about it because, hey, I was in college, right? About 10 years ago, I was still in college or so. I was about in college, but I was like, yo, I'm the cool kid in college because I'm, that promoter, I'm this and that. So
right.
You got to get smart with whatever you do. It's just a reality. And, the harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the more you're going to be willing to educate yourself. It honestly comes back to that mindset. When you know what you want, okay, I want to become successful. You make that decision for yourself. The next thing is putting in the work. And, you can be very hardworking. You work your butt off at your job. You're putting in that overtime every single day. You're not taking weekends off, which fine. That's one thing. But now you got to work smart.
Right.
Work is smart, and it starts with that education. Like, learning what is financial education, learning how to invest, learning other ways that you can potentially earn money if that's something that you're interested in. It's getting educated, because once you start to do that, now you're not just working hard at your job. You're not just working hard in your labor. You're working hard for yourself to learn what it is that you need to do. That way you can become successful. And that's all a part of working hard. Yeah, you might be working a little bit less at your job, but you're still working hard because you're trying to figure things out. Like, work changes over time. Like, even with Minority Mindset, my work has changed over time. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, when I started, this was a hobby, I was doing everything, because Minority Mindset was just something I was doing for fun. I was doing other businesses. I was doing other things. And then as we started to grow, I was still doing everything. I was making my videos. I was editing my videos. I mean, I was doing everything. Now my work is a lot more on the thinking side. I make videos, and I spend a lot of time thinking, because my work has changed. What I can do has changed. And so you got to understand that working hard doesn't necessarily just mean grinding away, lifting things, doing things. Working hard means thinking. And there's a lot of people out there that say, work smart, don't work hard. Work smart, don't work hard. But the people that are actually really successful that are saying that are working really, really, really hard. They just don't tell you that they're working hard, because they're working hard is not what you would consider working hard. We were in Austin, you remember, not too long ago, and we were in the hot tub working.
Yeah.
We were talking about business ideas.
That was crazy.
It's working, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not your traditional idea of what work is. We were hanging out in the hot tub in an awesome hotel, looking at the city skyline, talking about business.
Right.
It's work. But your type of work changes as you grow. In the beginning, it's very laborsome. When I used to work at weddings, I was lifting speakers, doing hard things, like sweating my butt off. Now it's different. And so what working hard means changes. And you got to be willing to work hard. You got to be willing to do that grind stuff to get to the other kind of working hard. But that working hard never goes away. It's just that work starts to change.
Absolutely. And do you think that working hard is something that that somebody has to innately have, or do you think working hard can be taught almost?
Yeah.
Sort of the mentality of it, right?
You can definitely learn to work hard. My brother was lazy. He used to play video games all the time. I've seen that. And now, man, he busts his butt. Mm-hmm. He works hard. I mean, he's doing a lot of different things. Again, it goes back to why. What are you doing it for? And so if you have a reason for why you do what you do, you're going to find a way. I mean, I'm going to go back to ET for a second because he was a motivational speaker and he got me to work hard. And I remember one of the things that he said, I don't think this was in the mixtape, but he's like, imagine one day that you come home and you see your mom or your wife or your spouse or somebody who's very important to you,
Sure.
very close to you in the kitchen, and somebody with a ski mask comes on, they put a gun to their head, they grab them, they throw them in the back of the trunk of their car, they tell you, don't come closer to me, and they drive off. What are you going to do? You're going to do whatever it takes to get your mom, your wife, your husband, your child, whatever it is back. You're going to do whatever it takes. You're not going to sleep. You're not going to take a break. If you call the police and they say, okay, we're on it, we're going to do everything that we can, you're not going to be able to sleep. You're going to do everything that you possibly can to figure out where they are and to get them back.
Right.
So you can learn to work hard. You just need a reason for why you're working hard.
You just need your goals in that trunk.
Exactly. You need to know what, and without that, it is impossible. When I was studying for my law school exams and my bar exam, I was sleeping more than ever. I got the most sleep when I was studying for the bar exam and when I was studying for my law school finals.
Interesting.
I mean, why? I wasn't very motivated by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew I had to get this done, but for me, I just needed to get it done. It didn't serve a bigger purpose for me. And so when I was studying for that, hey man, I was getting my full 8-9 hours of sleep, sometimes 10. I was sleeping so good. But when I'm passionate about something, and my passion changes, when I'm doing something that I love, that I care about, I care about minority mindset. I care about the financial education message. That's why I'm so passionate about everything that I say. Everything that I say comes from my heart. Everything that I say comes from things that I wish that somebody would have told me when I was growing up. Everything that I say, I'm so passionate about, which is why I wake up so excited. I wake up excited to work. I wake up excited to spread the message. I wake up excited to do what I want to do because this is something that's important to me. And you got to figure out, why do you want to succeed? So you talk about getting rich in a year. Look, you got the financial side. We can talk about that in a second, right? Things that you can do with your money. But if you don't got that mindset, man, it doesn't matter. It's impossible.
Absolutely. And you become wealthy in your mind way before you become wealthy anywhere else in your life.
100%.
I mean, for me, kind of going back to the attitude and the working hard for something, I love what I do too. Being able to do this and to be able to sit here right now is just awesome. But at the end of the day, people, I heard a quote once that's like, if you don't have money today, then if you have money today, rather, then you need to know how to use it so that way you have money for tomorrow. And I think that, being wealthy and being wealthy in the mind, if you're not that first, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
So I really want to get into the financial side of this and exactly what can people do, because there's probably a lot of people out there that are just screaming right now, that's great, I have the mindset, I know exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
How do I actually get it done, though?
Well, okay, good thing you got the mindset. Now, now what do you do with your money?
Exactly.
Right? Or what do you do with yourself? So now, if you want to get rich ASAP, let's just say you want to get rich in a year, you're going to have to take on a lot of risks. Mm-hmm. There's a few different ways that you can do that. Like you saw what happened with meme stocks and cryptocurrency blow-ups. People did get rich very fast. People who didn't have a lot of money, people who had a few $1,000s to their name were able to 10x, even 100x how much money they had very quickly.
Right.
Do I recommend that? No. But it is possible if you're willing to take on risk. When you're younger, take more risk than when you're older. But again, I'm not saying just throw your money into a random stock that everyone's talking about on Reddit or people are talking about on CNBC. Do your research. If you really want to become wealthy and sustainably wealthy, because the majority of people who try to follow like the hype are going to lose their money. It's gambling. If you really want to become wealthy, you got to figure out what it is that you want to do, right? So if you want to start a business, that's one route, but it's not going to be fast. Building a business is hard work, and it takes time. It takes years to really build a business, and what you got to understand is there's a difference between your business making $1 million and you making $1 million.
Right.
Because just because your business made $1 million doesn't mean that you're going to walk away with much money. who was it? The founder of Nike, Phil Knight, wrote a book called Shoe Dog. Great book. And one of the things he talks about was when he was building Nike, the first year Nike made $1 million, he was broke.
Right.
He didn't have money to his name. Nike, his company that he owned, was $1 million company. But the money that the company made, he was reinvesting back into the company to buy more shoes, to create new products, to endorse more people. So he was reinvesting back into himself through the company. And so you got to understand that, you know, if you're trying to build a business, you should not do it to get rich, because you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And you're not going to be able to build a successful business if you're doing it just to get rich, because then you're not going to be investing in your business. And if you're not investing in your business will not grow.
So if you're not doing it for the money, why are you building a business?
For the purpose. For the mission, the product. I mean, an entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur is on a bigger purpose.
Right.
Jeff Bezos wasn't just trying to get rich. He was really trying to revolutionize the way that we shop, and he did. Elon Musk, listen to him talk. He didn't do it for the money. If he did it for the money, when he sold PayPal and his other companies for $25 million, he would have gone out and he would have started enjoying his life. He took all of that money and reinvested it into himself, started new companies because he was passionate about changing the world. Entrepreneurs are crazy because they're trying to change the world. And I mean, you think about this now, it's not something that a rational-minded person would want to do. That's not an easy thing to do. But entrepreneurs are in the business of trying to change something. And
right.
so they have to have that passion. It's more than just the money, it's the purpose. If you don't have the purpose, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur.
And we keep saying, you know, kind of, we started with rich and now you've kind of switched to wealthy. So I want to talk about what the difference is between, if there is a difference between rich and what the difference is.
I just like the word wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
English was my second language. You can put whatever definition on whatever word you want. Okay? When I think of rich in traditional terms, I think of flashy. I got the Ferrari, I got the nice clothes, I got the nice vacation, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. When I think of wealthy, what I'm talking about is wealth. It's not what you show, it's what you have. And to me, that's what wealthy is. So when we talk about the minority mindset slogan, where money minds rethink rich, it's the whole idea of rethinking their traditional definition of rich.
Right.
And so for me, wealth is building that freedom to do whatever you want, is having freedom. There's a definition of wealth versus rich being, rich is what you can buy. So rich is measured in things. Wealth is measured in time. Rich is whatever you can buy with all that stuff. You can go buy the nice car, the nice clothes. Wealth is how much time you have that you can do whatever you want without physically working, because now you have your assets paying you. And if your assets are paying more than your expenses, if your expenses are $3,000 a month and your assets are paying you $3,500 a month, you have unlimited time because you have that cushion, right? You're making more money from your assets than your expenses are. Now you got the time. So that's what wealthy is.
Right. So wealth is basically being able to have things that pay you instead of actually having to work for your money 24/7.
Yeah. Wealth is freedom.
Right.
Wealth is freedom. Now, how do you do it? We talked about building a business, which isn't for everyone. The next thing, I mean, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of investing, it is by putting your money to work. And it's crazy when people say, you know, do it in 1 year, because first off, every overnight success that you've heard about was years in the making. It takes years, not just of trying, but failure and doing new things and learning. Like before I built Minority Mindset, I tried a whole bunch of different companies. Some of them did really well. Some of them failed. And those are the things that, you know, you don't see. Those are the things that, like, you had to learn. I had to go through. I had to experience. I had to try. And that's what taught me all the things that I know today. And so you have to be willing to put in that work. And that's something that takes time. You cannot just go around it. Yeah, you can learn, which will save you time. You can take classes, which will save you time. But at the end of the day, you need to try things yourself. You got to do it. And if you're not willing to put in that work, it's not possible.
Right.
And so, you know, you got to understand that, all right, you know, if you're not willing to build a business, then maybe do a side hustle to make some more money, that we have more money to invest. We could talk about that later. But then now where do you invest your money, right? I love real estate. I love stocks. I love startups. Those are the things that can give you huge returns. And then you have, your cryptocurrency and then your commodities like gold. We'll start with real estate. I am not a real estate flipper. I'm a real estate investor. That means when I buy real estate, I'm not trying to buy a property to flip it for twice the price next year. Mm-hmm. Can you do that? Sure. You can flip properties and try to make a lot of money doing that. But flipping is not for me. I'm trying to buy the asset so it pays me consistently, so I have a new stream of income. I invest in stocks in a couple of different ways. I invest every single week into ETFs because I believe in the American economy. It just puts money into the stock market every week, whether the stock market's up or down. That way I can just keep acquiring more shares in the stock market. Then I also invest in individual companies. Again, my goal with investing in these companies is not to see a massive return in 12 months. It is to own a company that I believe is undervalued, that I want to own for the long term.
Right.
Then startups. Now we're talking about more risky stuff. I invest in startups. It is risky because there's a much bigger chance that these companies can fail. But they also come with much higher potential returns, much higher potential ability to double, triple, quadruple, 5x your money. But again, very risky. For me, I like it because, one, I love entrepreneurship, as you can tell. I love entrepreneurs. I love the idea of creating something. I love the idea of building something. I love the idea of changing the world for the better. And I also have experience now, and I have a platform to help give exposure to the companies, right? So I like working with startups because that's who I am. Then you have cryptocurrency. This is a new way that a lot of people are trying to build wealth, again, very quickly. Anything from a financial perspective, you're talking about financial assets, securities, anything where you can get a 100% return in a year is going to be risky. Higher risk, higher potential return in general. Like sometimes you're going to see exceptions to that. When you see a market crash happen, your risk actually goes down and your potential returns can go up if you know what you're doing. Like when for example, the 2008 real estate crash happened, property prices went down by 95% in some places. If you knew what you were doing, you could buy properties with extremely low risk and extremely high reward. But in general, higher the risk, higher the potential return. And so when we talk about now people trying to 10x or even just double their money in a very short period of time, it's going to come with its fair share of risk. And if you're not willing to put in that work to learn, and if you don't learn, there's a much higher chance that you're going to lose your money.
So what you're basically saying is if becoming rich in 1 year is risky, or is it better to be a long-term, kind of have a long-term mindset when it comes to becoming rich?
In order to get rich in 1 year, you're going to have to put in years of hustle, learning, hard work, trying, failures, and then all of a sudden, 1 year, you're going to be like, holy moly, I made 5 times more than I did 5 years ago, or I made 10 times more than I did 5 years ago. Because what happens is when you go through all these like lessons and failures and whatever, the education that you go through, your income is like this. It's kind of just like a line. Mm-hmm. And then as you start to grow, it's like this, and then it just starts to shoot up.
Exponential, yeah.
Because now you have the right education.
Right.
And the education compounds. It compounds along with your efforts and your skills, and everything is just, it builds on top of one another. So, what does it take to get rich in 1 year?
Hard work.
Hard work. You had to put it, you had to have the right mindset, and it takes those years of doing it. Now, when we talk about just on the financial side, hey, you can play the lottery tomorrow and win $10 million. Mm-hmm. Luck. You can, maybe hit the right stock, hit the right cryptocurrency. Maybe luck, maybe it's some experience or education. But again, that education is going to take time.
Right.
Long-term investing is the key to sustainable wealth. That is the most predictable way for you to become wealthy. The most predictable way for someone to become wealthy in their lifetime. And we'll even put a dollar figure on it. The most predictable way for anybody to become a millionaire is through long-term investing. Doesn't matter if we're talking about stocks, real estate. I know people love arguing, oh, real estate's better, or oh, stocks are better. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But when you tell people, especially in this day and age, that yes, I'm investing, I'm going to become a millionaire, and they say, well, how are you doing it? And I say, well, I'm investing in an ETF for long-term wealth, right? They'll laugh at you. They'll say that you're becoming a millionaire in 40 years when you could be using your money now. What do you say to them?
Yeah, and not just that. People are going to say, oh, 7% return a year. Put your money in XYZ. I'm going to get 40% this month.
Right.
And first off, people are going to laugh at you no matter what you do. Again, it goes back to the mindset. If you're not willing to do whatever it takes, if you're not willing to get ridiculed, if you're not willing to be called crazy, if you're not willing to be called stupid, it's going to be very hard. Mm-hmm. So that's a fact. And that's another issue that people are going to have to go through, is because when you go through life and you're making money and you're showing it off, you got nice clothes, you're going on nice vacations, and all of a sudden you stop doing that because now you want to use your extra cash, you want to save this cash, you want to invest it in yourself. It is going to look weird to your family and your friends. They're going to wonder, what the heck happened to my son? Is something wrong? No. I'm trying to build my wealth. I am not broke. I'm actually richer now than before, even though I look poorer.
Right.
So, yeah, you got to be willing to do that. The second thing is, what was the second thing?
If some people are laughing at you for making that much money.
Yeah, because they're saying you can get a better return doing X, Y, Z.
Exactly. Everybody's got their own opinion on what's going on, and there's always a bigger way to make money. What do you say to them?
Well, it is what it is. And anything with that much potential return is going to come with its own fair share of risk. Risk is better when you're young, but risk also needs to be managed. If you want to focus on building wealth, then you need to continue to invest in the things that consistently have been proven to build wealth. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do riskier investments, especially if you're younger.
Right.
You need to have some money. You should put some money towards your risky investments, right? Like I invest in startups. It's riskier. You just got to know what is your risk tolerance. If you are really trying to go all in and you want to be risky, hey, just understand the risk. There is a potential for huge returns. There's also a huge risk that comes with that. And that's something you have to factor in for yourself. Some people are going to want to take all the risk, and they're going to say, hey, I'm 25 years old. I got $10,000 to my name. I want to go and I want to do everything I can to grow this money as fast as possible. And I did some research, and I want to go YOLO my money. That's fine. It's a free country. You're free to do that. It comes with its own fair share of risk. There's a chance you could turn the 10 grand to 100. There's also a chance you could turn the 10 grand into nothing. It's just you got to understand that risk.
So when you say investing and we're talking about being risky, one of the safest investments that people think is out there is investing in a 401k. And I want to get into 401k investing because it is super long term. But a lot of people don't understand that when you hit the end of that 401k, you might not get as much money as you think. So what are your thoughts on kind of like investing in that way versus investing in the stock market or real estate and getting those type of returns?
Well, the 401k is a stock market investment. Mm-hmm. The difference is you don't have control of your money. So the 401k is a tax-deferred retirement account where you are investing your money into this account. Hopefully your employer is matching some of your money. If not, then you really need to rethink what you're doing with your 401k. But
a lot of rethinking.
Well, yeah. Let's assume that your employer is giving you some money. Now you're putting your money in your 401k. What happens is for a lot of people, you have a limited number of options of things that you can invest in. And so your employer is going to say you have X, Y, Z. You can invest in these three things. The majority of people have no idea what they're investing in.
Right.
They say, okay, this looks conservative or this looks like a good growth rate. Let me invest in here. What they don't understand is first, when you invest your money in a 401k, you have to pay fees. Because when you have somebody managing your money, there's a cost to doing that. And so the majority of people have no idea what their fees are when they're investing in the 401k, which is the first issue. And these are fees that you don't have to necessarily pay, or you can pay a whole lot less of if you just know what you're investing in. So if you have a 401k, please take a minute or spend 15 minutes just reviewing what your 401k is investing in. Look at what your expense ratio is. See what it's costing you. If your expense ratio is more than 1%, you really need to start doing some research. Even if it's more than 0.5%, you really need to do some research. But look at your 401k. Then you got to understand taxes, because there is a difference between two different types of 401ks. You have the Roth 401k and you have the traditional 401k. You have to pay taxes regardless. The IRS is not going to let you not pay taxes, especially when you're putting your money into a government-sponsored account, which is the 401k. So either you're going to pay taxes when you put your money in, or you're going to pay taxes when you pull your money out. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to pay taxes now, so I'm going to put my money in. Fine. But you just got to understand now a little bit of economics, because you need to ask yourself, do you think tax rates are going to go up or down? I think tax rates are going to go up, not only because President Joe Biden has said that he wants to raise taxes, but because just looking at the national debt, if the United States doesn't know how to control their spending, if the United States keeps spending more money than they're earning through taxes, I don't even know if we should call it earning, but let's just say that they're earning this money, then they're going to have to spend more of their tax dollars towards paying off their debt payments. And if they have to pay more tax dollars to do that and they want to continue spending, they're going to need this money to come from somewhere. And so they're going to need more tax dollars. So there is a chance, now I can't guarantee this, but there's a good chance that taxes are going to go up in the future. And this is where everyone says, well, when I'm older, my income's going to be a whole lot less. So my tax rate's going to be lower. Mm-hmm. And I say, then this advice is not for you, because my goal is to increase my income every single year. By the time I'm 65, I'm hoping that I have a whole lot of income,
right?
Not a little bit of income. And so, you know, if you're of that mindset where you're trying to grow your income, you're trying to grow your assets, you're trying to make more money every single year, then you're not going to be thinking that, hey, I'm going to have a very low income when I'm 65, so my tax rates are going to be lower.
Right.
So, you know, if you're trying to make more money every year, you're going to have higher tax rates, you're going to be making more money, and these are things that you have to really think about with your 401k.
Right. And that's the difference, I think, between your mindset and the minority mindset versus what a lot of people's mindset is. A lot of people are working so that they can stop working one day. So that way they actually can build money, and then they don't have to make any more money.
Why the heck would you work a job for 45 years that you hate just so you can one day ultimately quit? It makes no sense.
Right.
Especially in this day and age, where now, you know, this pandemic was a blessing and a curse. You know, unfortunately, people lost their lives. You know, people got sick. That's not cool. But it changed our economy. It changed the world. And it's crazy that it took a pandemic to do that. But now, people have started to rethink what's important to them, right? Rethink again. What kind of lifestyle do they want to live? What do they want to do? What do they want to be?
Exactly.
And the whole idea, I hate the idea of traditional retirement. I talk about retirement, but for me, you know, retirement is all about becoming wealthy. But the whole traditional idea of retirement, thank God, it is finally starting to go away. People are starting to open their eyes and say, why should I work until 65 and then just quit? Why in the world would you want to be 66 years old with nothing to do? I mean, maybe it's just me, but if I'm not working, like, I'm going crazy. Like, I need something to do. I need something, like, I'm passionate about what I do. I could never see the day where I'm not working.
Right.
I love what I do. Maybe I won't be working as many hours as I do now. But, you know, again, right, what does working mean? It might be sitting in the hot tub talking to somebody about business ideas. It might be going out to eat with somebody. It might be, you know, networking with somebody. But, you know, figuring out what's important to you, right? And
yeah, retirement isn't, it is a number. Retirement is a number, but it's not the 65 number or 67 number that a lot of people think it is. Retirement is whenever you decide that you want to make a change.
Retirement, yeah, exactly. It's when your assets now are paying for your liabilities.
Exactly.
You have enough money coming, and now you're quote unquote retired, but now you can live and do things that you want. You're a little bit more free.
But right now, a lot of people work just to make money. That's why a lot of people work. Like we said at the very beginning, or like you said at the very beginning, people go to school for a long time to be doctors because that's where the money is. That's where we're taught where the money is. So people work. They don't even necessarily know if they like it. They just want to make money. And they don't even know what to do with that money, and they don't know how to handle that money once they have it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And I'm, you know, it's I went down the same route. I was supposed to be a doctor. And the reason why is because that's how you become successful. And when people say successful, they mean financially successful. And, you know, for me, it really pulled on my heart because I was starting to see a dichotomy where if I'm a doctor, how do I make money? I make money by treating patients. How do I make more money? treat more patients, right? And so it just something didn't make sense to me where it's a business of how many patients can I see, which means I might have to lower the quality of things that I do with my patients. And I didn't like that.
Right.
I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And for me, it's just like morally, I did not feel right doing that. So I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very thankful for that. And we should not have people becoming doctors with the goal of becoming rich. Just like you shouldn't start a business with the goal of becoming rich. Yes, financial success or a big salary is one of the rewards of all the work you put in to become a doctor, but that is not the reason why you should become a doctor. We need doctors who want to be good doctors.
Right.
We need accountants who enjoy looking at numbers, who want to be good accountants. We need attorneys who want to be good attorneys because that's what they're passionate about.
Right.
If you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Money is a byproduct of the value that you provide. You can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things, but the value that you provide should be something. You want to go back to the word passion. It's not just passion. It's something that you're proud of, something that you care about.
Right. So when we talk about, and you just kind of mentioned you can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things, I want to kind of jump into kind of side hustles right now.
The side hustles, I mean, I think it's great. I think, especially in this day and age, it is much more accessible to start a side hustle, which is good. That doesn't mean it's easy, but I think it's great. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do it. You can do it online. You can do it physically. You can go and drive for Uber, Lyft. You can go and deliver groceries. You can go and deliver food. There's so many things they can do in the real world.
Right. There's so many people doing that right now too.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, people are taking control of themselves. They can live their lives the way they want. They can control how much money they earn based on how hard they work. It's great. And you also have the digital versions, right? You have freelancers, people doing things. You have just people realizing that they want to start something of their own. Maybe you can't run your own business, but it's something you can do to supplement your own income. I love it. And now it's just, what are you doing with that extra money? What are you doing with that? What are you working harder for, right? It's the goal. Just making sure that you know that, all right, I'm working harder. That way now I have more money to invest or put my money into this or build my business or buy a business or whatever it is. You just got to know why you're doing what you do.
Right. You got to have your priorities set.
So did we answer that question of what does it take to become rich in a year?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool, man. Well, this was the first time that we've done something like this.
Yeah.
A podcast type video or talking video. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this, you want to see more of this, let us know in the description. And we'll see you next time. As always, keep hustling. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here's a video on how to build wealth that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, download our free stock market investing guide. And as always, keep hustling. You gotta stop hating people for becoming wealthy and understand the game and win at the game. Now, if you don't like the system, then what you should do is become wealthy and then use your wealth to give back and help other people. That's a good thing. And now you can inspire other people to do that.